It must be borne in mind that the tragedy of life doesn't lie in not reaching your goals. The tragedy lies in not having or in having no goal to reach. It isn't a calamity to die with dreams unfulfilled, but it is a calamity not to dream. It is not a disgrace not to reach the stars, but it is a disgrace to have no stars to reach for. Benjamin Mays. So good morning and welcome. I'm Thaddeus Miles, the Director of Community Services for Mass Housing and the Chair of the BAM Advisory Board. We come here today because we believe our young black and brown boys should have goals to reach, dreams to fulfill, and stars to reach for. Too many young people in Boston face challenges that make it difficult for students to focus and learn in school. And as a community, leaders strive to address opportunity gaps and trauma that affects boys of color. BAM has demonstrated tremendous success in preventing justice involvement while improving graduation rates. My involvement with youth guidance began with a visit to Chicago to see its Becoming a Man program in action. I came to know an organization whose commitment to empowering youth and building thriving communities has helped youth from Chicago's most under-resourced communities to maximize their potential. I would like to recognize my fellow advisory members, each of whom has tremendous leadership in Boston's youth, for Boston youth. Kate Barrett, Executive Director of the Green Light Fund. Ron Dorsey, Chief of Education, City of Boston. LaToya Gay, Phenomenal Moms, Boston Public Schools. Conan Harris, Director of My Brother's Keeper, City of Boston. My mentor, my friend, the Honorable Judge Leslie Harris. And the person that convinced me to go to Chicago and examine BAM, Dr. Makeepa McQuarrie, Managing Director of Boston Public Schools. William Morales, Commissioner of BCYF, City of Boston. Barbara Sullivan, Director of Education, Strategic Grant Partners. On behalf of the BAM Advisory Council, I'm glad that you've joined us today to learn more about the program and its aspirations to achieve these same outcomes for young men in Boston. And now, I get the opportunity to introduce our mayor. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to listen to Conan Harris speak about if he was in a fight and he needed someone to help him, that he wanted the mayor to jump right in. I felt like a kid. I said, what about me, Conan? What about me? I'm a big, strong, strapping brother. What about me? It was just an interesting dynamic. But I was like, come on, man, come on. But the reality is, it's true. When I think about a man willing to take a punch for justice, I think about our mayor. When I think about a man willing to discuss the undiscussables when it comes to race in Boston, I think about our mayor. When I think about equity, I think about our mayor. When I think about a man fighting for our young black and brown boys to have dreams to fulfill and stars to reach for, I think about our mayor. At this time, please join me in welcoming Mayor Walsh.
Thanks, Thaddeus. And when Conan said that, I was thinking I'm going to have Thaddeus go in front of me, my lead blogger. Thank you very much, Thaddeus, for all the work you do. Thank you, Conan Harris. We were just talking about you a minute ago. All good things. I want to thank Thaddeus. I want to thank Conan for his great work that he's doing, My Brother's Keeper. You know, I said this when President Obama came out with My Brother's Keeper. I said that Boston would be the best My Brother's Keeper program in the country, and that's what we're aiming for. And we have great people. And the president came up with this idea because he grew up in Hawaii. He grew up in the south side of Chicago, Hawaii. Had a chance to go to Harvard, and he often said because of the color of his skin, there was opportunities that were missed. And he wanted to leave a legacy as president. And a lot of the presidents do leave legacies, and President Obama's legacy is going to be a whole bunch of things as time goes on. But really one of the things that he wants to focus on, and I think it stemmed from a visit in his office. There's a picture outside the White House, if you went there, and you can look online and find it. And a little boy was in the room, little black kid was in the room, and he leaned over, and the little black boy touched his head, and he said to the president, "Your hair is just like mine." And it wasn't until that moment that the president really realized what it meant for him to be president of the United States of America. That a little black boy could look in the mirror or look on TV and see somebody who looks just like him. And that was an important day, not just for the president, but an important day for our country. So I just want you to think that as we talk about what we're going to do today and what we're doing in our city. So let me just go back to thank you. Shawn Brown, thank you. Thank you for what you do. Judge Harris, thank you for the great stuff you do and did and continue to do. We're joined by City Councilor Nisa Sabi George. Thank you, Councilor, for being with us today. We're joined by Deanie Mulhern, who's here, who works with Conan. You already heard the names: Ron Dorsey, McKeever McCreary, Will Morales. 3 incredible people that work in the city of Boston that do some incredible work here in the city. I want to thank them all, because this work isn't about me. This is what we do collectively together. So I want to thank them all for their great work. Everyone on the BAM Advisory Committee, Advisory Council, thank you as well for your work, because I know we're asking a lot of you lately. My brother's Keeper and BAM and some other things that we're doing, but we want to make a difference. And the difference is right here in front of us. We want to make a difference for all of you. In the city of Boston, we're trying to make sure that we create opportunities for young black and brown boys and girls, to make sure that there's an opportunity that when you graduate, that your future is positive, and that the dreams that you have right now as 9th and 10th graders in your head, that someday you can fulfill those dreams, and that you don't give up, because that's what this work's all about. BAM is going to be working to remove educational, economic, and juvenile justice barriers. What does that mean? That means educational, giving you opportunities to make sure, just like a lot of people in this room had, like I had. Now, when I was a high school student, I didn't really care about high school. I didn't love it. I didn't like it, actually. I got through. I went to college for about a year and a half, and then I thought I quit, and I went to work with construction. And when I did that, you know, my life kind of took a turn in a different direction. And realizing that the future of my future was through education. My future wasn't through construction, because quite honestly, I wasn't that good at it. And I didn't like getting up early in the morning, and I didn't like working 8 hours hard. I liked the paycheck on Thursday, but that was about it. And I realized that, like, I wanted to put a suit and tie on. I wanted to dress up. I wanted to fulfill my dreams. The juvenile justice barriers, we all know what that is. Making sure that we don't have young people going into the system over foolish things that can be avoided. And BAM's going to help understand, and we're going to work to make sure people understand, like, the decisions you make. Because I made some bad decisions too. I'll be honest with you. I made some bad decisions in my life. Some decisions that I wish I could turn around and regret. Now, those decisions didn't completely take my life down a road that I couldn't come back from, but certainly I was on that path. And it's important for you to understand that. We want to make sure that every young man has strong social networks, emotional networks, and academic support. Growing up in a city isn't always easy, because people that live in the suburbs don't understand the challenges that we have in the city. You know what the challenges are. I'm not going to go through them all. But some of those challenges that you have, we want to make sure we wrap around some programs, not programs, but support for you, so you understand all that. Today's work is a big milestone in the city of Boston. We've made some great advancements over the last, when I say advancements, we've made some great gains over the last few years, but we're not even near where we need to be as a city. I was talking to the judge one time. He was talking about having a young man in front of him, and, you know, he hit him pretty hard with a penalty because he made some bad decisions in his life. The decisions shouldn't be decided at a judge. The decisions that young men and boys and girls have to make should be done way before that. Those decisions should be in a guidance counselor's office. Those decisions should be by a teacher. Those decisions should be by a community, by a coach. It shouldn't be by a judge or a probation officer or the district attorney. Are you going to give time or not give time? Those are not what we want to do, and that's what we're talking about today. I want to thank the 4 schools. We're going to bring BAM to 4 schools in Boston. The Jeremiah E. Burke. Anyone here from the Burke? All right. Boston English. Anyone here from English? They must be studying today. Dearborn STEM Academy. John D. O'Brien. And we have guests from other places, right? We got Miami in the house? All right. And I'm going to try and be fast. I know that you're dying to get back to class. All right, so I'm going to speed up my speaking. Starting in September, we're going to have students have access to in-school counseling, mentorship through BAM. They're going to join a whole bunch of their peers and who support them through their high school years. This program started in Chicago. And Chicago's a good city, but we can do it better, right? We'll be a little competitive here, all right? There's going to be a rigorous... It's all right. That's my thing to stop talking. We're going to take part in a curriculum that's rigorous so young people understand the importance of getting a good, strong education. We're going to help with emotional skills as well, something that all of us need, including me as a mayor of Boston. We're going to be supportive community where boys can decide themselves when they want to become a man. This is a nationally acclaimed program that we're bringing to our city. It's found incredible results in the city of Chicago. We're thrilled to replicate this program here in Boston because what we do, we share best ideas. What works in Chicago might work in Boston. What works in Boston might work in Chicago. And we're going to continue to work around the country. We're proud after a national search, BM chose Boston. So we were chosen as a city because people said there's something going on in Boston. There's something we can do in Boston to make a difference. That's why they're here today. And a lot of you probably don't even understand that this is how big of a program this is. But I guarantee you that when you graduate high school and when you graduate college, you're going to come back and say, wow, that was a turning point in my life because that program really helped me turn what was going on in my life. So I'm honored to have BAM here. I want to thank you guys for bringing BAM here to our city. Over the last decade in Boston, the dropout rate in Boston has dropped in half. Now, we like to take credit for it. You know, politicians and people, oh, we cut the dropout rate in half. We actually didn't cut the dropout rate in half because it wasn't us that did it. It was young people who stayed in school. So it was the young people that actually cut the dropout rate in half. You know, and so I think that that's important. We want to cut that rate down even further. 3/4 of our BPS graduates are enrolled in college within 16 months after finishing high school. That's something that's really important now. Like I said, I wasn't focused on it. But what I did, I had family at home, and I had people at home that challenged me that said, once you drop out of school, you'll never go back. And I'm too stubborn to fail. So I said, okay, I'm going to go back some point. I ended up going back, but I was 40 years old when I got my degree. So, you know, I didn't go back when I should have went back. So there's an opportunity for you guys right now when you graduate. Most ninth graders, how many ninth graders? 10th, 11th, 12th. All right, 11th grade. Next year, you want to go to college, you go for free. Roxbury Community College, Mass Bay Community College, Mount Hill Community College. You get a 2.0 GPA, you go for free. You graduate that school in 3 years, you can go to BU, you can go to other schools and have a lot of less debt than people have today, if you stay focused, if you have a dream. This builds on my Brother's Keeper program, as I said earlier. I just want to, my job is to, I have to thank the partners. I want to thank all the partners helping us. Becoming a Man, Boston Public Schools, Strategic Grant Partners, the Green Light Fund, the Boston Foundation. I'm going to thank the PIC. They're not on my list, but Neil Sullivan's here, so the PIC is involved. Thank you, Neil. I get to bring up the superintendent now in a second, but Thaddeus said something real important. When a couple of things that bother me as mayor. Today I pulled out, and one of my guys, Xavier Savage, he's out in the hallway. I don't know if any press is out in the hallway, but what bothered me, Xavier here. What bothered me is last year, this time, there was a shooting in front of the Burke, right? And when that happened, we had 4, 5, 7, 25, 56, 38, CNN. We had everybody out front of the school. Everybody was out there looking for something. What's going on in the neighborhood? People are mad. There's shootings going on. There's a violent neighborhood. Kid from the school. What happened? Was gang involved? Was drug involved? How did it happen? And today, we have something positive going on in our school. And there's no press here. There might be one press here. If you're here, thank you. So we have to make sure that we continue to put out good messages around our neighborhoods. Another piece is when people talk about violence in our neighborhoods, yeah, we know there's problems in the streets. There's no question about it. But there are more good people living in our neighborhoods than people causing the violence. So what we have to do as people is help you become young men to take our streets back in a positive way. Because anytime I've spoken to somebody that's gang involved and they have a little brother or sister, every time I talk to them, they say the same thing to me. They say, I don't want my little brother or sister involved in this gang activity. So I don't think people that are involved in the gang activity want little brothers and sisters involved. So we have to make sure we do a better job of making our streets safe. I love this city. I love the kids in this city. When something happens to one of the kids in our city, I take it personal. I can name off 5 or 6 times where a young person has lost their life to violence in the city of Boston. That really affected me more than that over the last few years. That's why we're doing all this. But just like the dropout rate, to fix that dropout rate, I can't do it. I can't, what's your name?
Julius.
I can't force Julius to graduate high school. I can't force Julius to go to college. I can't force Julius to get a job. I can't force Julius to become a man in a positive way. Julius has to do that himself. And that means every one of you, Juliuses or whatever your names are, you have to do it yourself. You have an opportunity here to really set the bar and go a different way. So I want to thank you for letting me come here today. And I have the great honor of introducing to you the superintendent of the Boston Public Schools. He's a Laker fan. Right? Yeah, it's, you know, but listen, we all can't be the #1 seed in the East. So, Superintendent Tommy Chang.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for sharing your passion. I love it when you talk about your personal story. Thank you for sharing that with the young people. And I remember the last time you talked a little bit of trash about the Lakers. I hit a 3-pointer on the playground right at the King's School, just to show you. You know, we can shoot in LA as well.
I hope you have better luck in the lottery this year.
Let's hope that we don't hit a lottery again. That draft pick's going somewhere else, unfortunately. Thaddeus, thank you for opening today. Thank you for serving as a chair of the advisory council. I appreciate your words. I appreciate your leadership in this city. Only one little criticism. You talked about Conan jumping in. You talked about the mayor jumping in. I'm a little shifty to myself. Yeah. Don't underestimate.
I got jokes for that.
Yeah. Yes. The work of BPS is to close opportunity achievement gaps, period. That's our mission. And we've made that very, very clear from the very beginnings. So that's why it makes so much sense to welcome BAM to Boston, for us to work in partnership with BAM. We're going to partner with a nationally recognized organization that has gotten results with a proven track record with young men of color. And they provide school-based interventions, counseling, peer leadership services, and peer leadership is critical. And I'm going to talk about why it makes so much sense in the city of Boston shortly. Founded in 2001 in Chicago, BAM teaches valuable life skills to young men of color. And BAM did choose Boston to be its first district, first city outside of Chicago. Our partnership with BAM represents another critical step to supporting the social and emotional needs of our young people. We made it a priority in Boston Public Schools to create multi-tiered systems of support in every single school. And BAM is an evidence-based Tier 2 intervention. It's deeply aligned to our strategy. School staff, they are our true partners. They will be identifying students who can benefit from the BAM program and engage with the BAM counselor on an ongoing basis to address the school and the student needs. BAM counselors are embedded full-time within the school so they can work seamlessly with school staff and be consistently available to provide BAM students with one-on-one support. I want to thank the 4 schools that are involved. 150 men, young men, will benefit from this program. The Jeremiah E. Burke High School, Dearborn STEM Academy, English High School, and the John D. O'Brien. I also want to thank some district leadership. I want to thank our instructional superintendent, Anthony Pope, Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Carla Estrada, Assistant Superintendent of the Opportunity Achievement Gap, Colin Rolls, and then Dr. Makima McCurry as well, our Managing Partner of External Affairs. I want to thank the headmasters. Lisa Gilbert-Smith, who I saw earlier. Lisa, are you here? Lisa. Leah Noriega, who is not here. Dr. Tanya Wisdom Freeman. And Dr. Lindsay McIntyre, of course. Thank you for hosting today. And BAM, I want you to know that you're coming into a very proud city. I've only been in the city for 2 years, but if there is one thing I've learned, this is a city that is proud and it is resilient. And our young people in this room are evidence of that. Our mayor is a proud man. He is a resilient man. And we look forward to working with you to lift these young men and to guarantee that they will be successful in college, career, and life. And to the young people, we are here to make sure that you are successful, that you graduate from college, you get some post-secondary education, you have a career in this city, in this country, in this world, and that you will be able to benefit from at least a middle class life. Never, ever, ever hesitate to contact anybody in this room if you need anything. You pick up the phone, you find us in our offices, you track us down, you ask for help. We're here to make sure you succeed in life. So, thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of everybody. Thank you all for the partnership. We can't do this without every single person in this room. And with that, I think I turn it back over to Thaddeus, right? Thank you.
So when I hear Dr. Chang talk about he's a little shifty, I think of a movie, and the young man said, "Don't ever touch a black man's radio." And so some of y'all know what I'm talking about, right? So I do want to share one thing, before I introduce the next person. So part of BAM's philosophy is that the men that work with you have to get their stuff together, and that we have to be solid. And as the chair, I was sort of in that mode of it's easier to build strong boys than to fix broken men. But as part of BAM's philosophy is we also have to fix broken men, and we have to fix our own issues. And so I couldn't come into this building today without being authentic and living in that model. So I want to thank Dr. McQuarrie, who pushed me. I want to thank Conan, who I cried on the phone with a few times. I want to thank the Godfather back there for being you'll learn more about him in a minute, or the BAM father, let me get it right, for when I was going to Chicago, for having real conversations and being an example of manhood and being an example of fatherhood. So just this weekend, I fixed what was broken. I'm not going to say I fixed it, I started to heal and mend it. And that was, I hadn't spoken to my father in over 15 years. And so this past weekend and this past Father's Day, I got to spend 3 days with him learning about who he was, but him also learning about who I am. So this is a journey. So I just want to say to the young people here, this is a journey we're all doing together. Just because I'm standing here, just because I'm the chair, doesn't mean that I don't have issues that need to be resolved. The mayor said that we all have stuff that we regret, and we all have stuff that we still are working on. And this is an authentic process that will allow us as men to expose ourselves and our own stuff and our own trauma with you. And so I appreciate you being here today, and I appreciate and look forward to learning from you. The next person I'm bringing up is Shawn Brown, the newly named Executive Director of Boston. I've known Shawn as a man, as a father, as a change agent, as an upstander for more than 10 years. Shawn has been a leader in serving boys and young men of color in the city of Boston for many years. I love Shawn Brown. Me too. We don't get the opportunity to say it out loud enough as men, and especially as men of color, that we love another man of color. So let's remember that as we move forward. It is okay to say that you love another brother. I love Shawn. I love what he's going to do. I love his leadership. And I love everything about him as a father, as a man. So when I think about reimagining manhood and reimagining fatherhood and fatherhood 365, I think of Shawn Brown. And so I'm incredibly excited to see him lead, and I'm incredibly excited to see what is next for this man and his family, and for you to have the opportunity to engage with my dear brother, Shawn Brown.
Good morning. Good morning. I want to first thank you all for being here. Before I start, I just want to say, as a product of the Boston Public School System and a lifelong resident of the city of Boston, I am honored to be the executive director of BAM Boston. Physically, I feel good. Last night I worked out with my son until midnight. We were in the gym getting shots up, and I knew I had to be here at 8. But my son said, "Dad, can we go get some shots up?" And I said, absolutely. So we go to the gym, I get a workout. I figure I can clear my mind after, having a rough weekend. So we go to the gym. So I feel good. I got an opportunity to spend that time with my son last night. Intellectually, I'm thinking about what this week looked like. We have been interviewing potential candidates for supervisor, BAM supervisors, and counselors. I'm dedicated and committed to putting the best men in front of you young fellas. So all week I've been just thinking about that, as we go through this process and we're interviewing people, is how will they interact with my young people? I believe in putting great men in front of you who are going to do the right thing and live by example. So I've been thinking about that. Emotionally, I'm happy. I'm happy because today is finally here. It's been a long time coming. I have mixed emotions also because people told me I wouldn't be here. But I had one person who believed in me, and I got to point him out. When I was your age, a lot of people told me that I would be dead or in jail, but there was one person who believed in me and said, "You're going to be great." And that man is Ed Powell. So I'm happy and I'm thankful for you. For being in my life, because you saw me here before I saw myself here. So I'm thankful for you, and I appreciate that. Spiritually, I'm blessed. I feel connected to all you in the room, and I'm looking forward to great things with BAM, the district, and the city. What I just did was checked in, okay? And that is something that our young men will go through on a daily basis as they're involved in BAM. That's called our PIES check-in. We check in how we feel physically, how you're feeling intellectually, how you're feeling emotionally, and how you're feeling spiritually. So again, I'm excited to bring that to these young men. The beauty of BAM, as I think Thaddeus mentioned earlier, is what our young people go through, we also go through. It's important to do your own work. So we don't just do, and put our young men in a group and take a look at self. We do that work as adults, and I think that's special. I got an opportunity to, when I went through the process of interviewing, really share some things that I'd never shared about what troubled me growing up, and it was not having a father. Not having a father in my life, not because he was dead, but because he chose not to be a part of my life. When my mother told him she was pregnant, he said, "That's not my child." So I always made a promise that if I ever had kids, that my kids would never grow up without a father like I did. All right, and I always made a promise to Ed. I said, "I owe you for helping me become the man that I am today." And he said to me, "You don't owe me anything. Just do what I did for you for someone else." So I dedicate my life to making a difference in the lives of you young men, paying it forward. I stand on the shoulders of many who came before me, and I'm going to do it until they put me down, until they put that dirt on me. So again, that's just my check-in. So I'm going to go forward with a little bit of talking about BAM and give you an overview of what BAM is. BAM is a school-based counseling program for young men in grades 7 through 12. The program delivers an innovative blend of clinical theory, men's rites of passage work, and a dynamic approach to youth engagement and mentoring that equips our young men with the skills and tools necessary to be successful in today's 21st century. Through weekly group sessions called BAM Circles and individual support during the school day, BAM counselors guide our young men to learn, internalize, and practice social, emotional skills and align with the program's 6 core values. Those 6 core values are integrity, accountability, self-determination, positive anger expression, respect for womanhood, and visionary goal settings. Before we move on, I want to just show a quick video.
I grew up 7755, my whole address, South Marshfield. It was a lot of shooting. I actually seen a person lay dead right on my line right there. I seen a person lay right there dead. Coming home after school, really, if you didn't really make it in the daytime, is watch over your shoulders, because you never know where somebody's gonna come from. When I first started BAM, I talked not about what we was talking about, but I talked to other people. I was laughing, cracking jokes. I didn't really take it that serious, and because I didn't know nothing about becoming a man. I had no father figure, really. Like, my dad was never there, stepdad was in jail, so I really had no one to look up to. So, you know, that leads to a lot of fights and things and whatnot.
The biggest thing I've seen about Chris is in his leadership. You know, he has become the kind of kid who not only takes like a very active role in the BAM groups, like where he's participating all the time and like really doing really great work on himself, but he's also challenging the people around him.
Brotherhood, that's a perfect word for it, because everybody is just so connected. Like, you can really talk. When I'm in a BAM sessions, I can really express myself, and the BAM guys, they understand what I'm saying and where I'm coming from, because some of it's happening to them too. New Chris is way better than old Chris, I can guarantee that.
Pretty much, even though Chris is a young man from Chicago, I think the narrative is the same for our young man in Boston as he talks about the struggles that he had to face throughout his life. What's important is the outcome, you know, as he talks about BAM and what's he doing and how BAM has changed his life. I think, Mayor, you spoke about it earlier about, you know, BAM's doing great things, but I have vision for Boston to do greater things as we, you know, talk about our young men. So the outcomes, you know, for Chris or the young man in the video, again, you know, talking about the trials and tribulations that he faced and where he is and how BAM has had that impact is the same thing that I vision for you guys. So that video was more to, you know, to you young people. And first, I want to, you know, just say thank you for being here, you know, because this is what it's about. So BAM's positive impact on violence reduction and academic attainment has been validated by 2 randomized control studies conducted by the University of Chicago Crime Lab. During the most recent multi-year evaluation of BAM, the Crime Lab researchers found that participants were 25% more engaged in school based on the index of GPA, school attendance, and persistence. Researchers also found that BAM students were 19% more likely to graduate on time, and BAM students were 50% less likely to be arrested for violent crimes than those in the control group, and 35% less likely to be arrested overall. Through my past work and experience, I know firsthand the power that happens between a caring adult and a young person, okay? So again, that's why I'm committed to this work. I'm committed to BAM being here. I'm committed to making BAM work for you all. BAM will launch, and I'm going to repeat, you know, just a couple of things I think that Superintendent mentioned. BAM will launch in Boston this fall. We will serve 150 young men across the 4 schools. I want to say thank you to the headmasters for your support in BAM, and I'm looking forward to working with you. So can we give the headmasters? In closing, I would like to say this expansion is not possible without the support of many of you who are here today. So with that, I'd like to thank the City of Boston, the Boston Public Schools, strategic grant partners, the Green Life Fund, and the Boston Foundation for your partnership and support. And because of you, more youth are receiving the guidance and support they need to overcome destructive behaviors and build bright futures and productive lives for themselves and their families. BAM aims to serve 9 schools and 400 young people by the year 2020. We will need to identify more champions and secure additional support. I'd like to thank each of you for being here today. Whether you're a current or potential partner, We know each of you have a commitment to Boston's youth. We are very grateful for that, and we look forward to the continuing support with each of you to build a bright future for our young men throughout Boston. I'll leave you on this. Something my mentor said to me when I started to doing this work. He always said to me, if you can't do a whole lot, then do a whole little. Okay? And before you know it, that whole little has turned into a whole lot. And when you look back, you've moved mountains. So with that, I'm asking you, if you can't do a whole lot, then do a whole little. And we can make a huge impact in the lives of these young men here today. My next thing is to call the mayor back up. But Mayor, before I do call you up, I just want to say I appreciate you and all the work you do and your unwavering support for our young people in the city of Boston, especially our black and brown boys, and my Brother's Keeper initiative. Through my previous work as executive director of Diamond Educators Mentoring, I had an opportunity to work with Conan in doing this work. And it was amazing. A lot of that work was done here at the Burke, but also in other schools and community centers around the city. So I thank you, for all you do and supporting us and especially our black and brown boys. So I was told that you were, coming back up. So without further ado, I want to call the mayor.
But before the mayor speaks, since I have his attention and I have the superintendent's attention, one of the other issues with young brown and black boys learning is heat. So in your new build Boston, some air conditioning will be good.
You have no idea. I'm sweating to death under this. Thank you very much. Let me just to wrap up, results in Chicago of this program, 50% violent crime arrests down, overall stats by 35%, increased graduation rate by 19%. It's going to start next school year, September, after you have fun in the summer. 4 schools. We are going to grow this program here in Boston. We're going to get it right. Let me just, before I close, I want to thank everyone for coming, first of all. And anyone who had anything to do with today or in the past, thank you as well. Any young men, any questions for us? Anybody have any questions? Yeah. Yeah, we got a picture. Any other questions? Because now you have to go back to class. All right, listen, thank you guys for coming. Thank you, everyone, for coming. BAM Chicago, thank you for picking Boston.